So hello everyone, and welcome to the third round of the 2017 NASA RallyCross Challenge season. We are back at the Milwaukee Mile in West Allis, Wisconsin, as we're getting ready to go for the second event at this exciting racetrack. We're down on cars once again this week. We only have 6 cars. It's the same format as the last couple weeks. 2 quarterfinals, 1 semifinal, and then the final. 6 laps, 4 laps. 8 laps, Joker once, except for the final. In this first quarterfinal, it's going to be Philip Kraus, Chris Wetz, and Jacob Kraus. Remember, no relation between the two, except the fact that they both reside in Wisconsin. But remember, Phil Kraus drives under the Canadian license. Second quarterfinal, we'll have Livin' Good, Mertz, and Lester. Let's jump right into it.
Sent that like an hour ago, and I don't have third gear. You're fine.
Is that an order you'd willing to make, or is he gonna have to run without third?
He's gonna have to run without third.
10-4. 1:42:23. That's the grid choice. 1, you are good. 1, pull up a smidge. 42, pull up a smidge.
Unless did somebody else cause him to blow third?
No. 23, pull up. 42, pull up.
42.
I got it. 23, pull up.
Sorry.
Let's pull up good. 42, pull up. 23, back up to smidge. Just pinch. Okay, good enough. 6 laps, Joker once. Remember, no Joker on the first lap of the race.
With the first gibberish on my new keyboard.
Getting ready for the first quarterfinal in Milwaukee. Green flag, the 2 Krauses on the inside of Wetz, as Jacob Kraus puts Wetz into the wall on the start.
Really sorry, Wetz.
Start
on the contact.
Not a good start so far for Wetz.
Start is good.
The winner of the first race 2 weeks ago in the Netherlands. Interesting to see that Philip Kraus does not have a win sticker next to that number plate yet in 2017 C. But if he improves 1 spot from last season's race here, we shall definitely see a winner sticker on that number 1. Remember, he finished second to his then teammate and fellow Wisconsin native Cody Erdman. Remember, no Jokers in the first lap of the race, but the running order has not changed since Jacob Kraus mysteriously put Wetz into the wall.
End of 1 leads, Joker is allowed.
Leads at the end of the first lap. As this race was unfortunately kind of over before it started, as not sure what happened on the Kraus machine here, but Jacob Kraus struggling in the 42. Looks like he hit the wall.
I don't really know if
as radio communication there between race control. I don't know. I can't whisper to you anyways. Just iMessage me. Kraus leads at the end of the second lap.
2-1 leads.
47.9 to a 47 flat. He's kind of cruising. He kind of knows that he might have this, but Wetz is not going to let him get this easy. It's a decent-sized gap, but he was a second faster last lap. Into the hairpin off the oval. Once again, this is one of the best tracks that NASA RallyCross has been to, simply because of how diverse it is. Because we ran Irwindale, we ran Evergreen Speedway last season. We won't be returning there. We ran Indianapolis. That was dropped from the schedule. Wetz Jokers in the 23. But this has the twisty bits and then the long front straightaway.
End of 3, 23 leads. Cross flags.
As Wetz leads at halfway. The lap was a 47.9 to a 42.6, sorry. So it is a 5-second difference for the Joker. And if Wetz can hold this delta, he might win this quarterfinal. But it's going to be interesting. As he's into the wall! As we just looked out of our commentary box window. Into the wall goes Wetz! As we look down at our timing monitor to see the the lap times, and we look up out of the window, and Wetz is into the wall, so everything I just told you is out of the equation. And Kraus isn't even going to joker to get that delta. He's probably going to just add insult to injury to Wetz and joker on the last lap of the race. 2 to go for Philip Kraus. And Jacob Kraus struggling in the 42.
4-1 leads.
And this is becoming a very frantic battle. We're only 3 races in. We haven't even gotten to this final yet. And you can feel the tension rising between the MRT teammates. It's not even tension. It used to be tension between Erdman and Mertz. Now it's just such a fierce competition level. They push each other until they've extracted all the pace out of the car. 47.493 for Philip Kraus. He's going to joker now. Essentially tell Wetz, well, you shouldn't have driven off the road. With 2 laps to go,
1 leads white flag.
let's ride on board car number 1. And he runs it wide in car number 1. So not a good day so far for this corner. Wetz tried to take the fight. He couldn't make anything happen. Wetz got close. I'm not sure what's going on. I think it's just such a difficult spot to break. Remember, we were running the lighter cars last season when we ran here with 6-speed boxes and more downforce, so potentially everybody's used to that, but Philip Kraus will win the first quarterfinal.
The most interesting race I've ever seen without any contact. 1 wins the first quarterfinal, followed by the 23 who goes to the semi.
And Jacob
Somehow I
Kraus
have a yellow tire right now.
in the 42.
Also, yeah, it's still overheating a bit.
Ooh.
I think it'll be fine after the weather.
You could have gone through the grid. Just gotta finish up.
Yeah, don't junk it, by the way.
Zord, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for a little bit.
Oh, who put Josh and I next to each other?
Go pull up.
You could have went to the other side of me, but... Welp.
What?
Oh, it's you two and me.
Oh, I thought you like blew a gear.
No.
Remember, Casey, you were as fast as this couple weeks ago? Falcon Zord, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for a little bit.
Oh, who put Josh and I next to each other?
Go pull up.
You could have went to the other side of me, but...
Go pull up. Bit more. Wee a bit more. Yeah. 51 up a tiny bit. 6 laps, Joker 1.
Getting ready for the second quarterfinal. This should be interesting. It's Mertz, Livingood, and Lester. Getting ready to go. Lester jumps a smidge. Green flag. And this is going to be a great race between these guys. We saw that a couple races ago. As we take the first lap of the race, Lester by himself in the privateer Mitsubishi. It's going to be Mertz v. Livingood into turn 1. Remember, Livingood is one of the oval guys. Lester drifts it in the 50. Livingood goes to the inside of Mertz, exiting turn 2, and he takes the lead. But now Mertz sneaks to the inside in car number 2. Thought about it, but he thinks better of it. Into the infield. Mitsubishi v. Subaru, Livingood v. Mertz, friend v. friend, rival v. rival, whatever tag you want to put on it. And side by side, over the jump, they both go. Down to the hairpin to enter the oval once again. Livingood will lead us. Mertz on 3 wheels there. Very tricky to get that right. But Livingood will lead us at the end of the first lap.
End of 151.
Mertz gets really close to his former teammate. Holding the red plate is car number 2, smoking the right front through turn 2. He's there, he's on the inside. Will he check his former teammate? Yes, he goes to the lead.
I'm gonna give up some time. That was unfair. That was shitty.
It's all good. Thank you, though.
And he didn't feel that that was a fair move, so he gave up the time. Fair assumption by car number 2. Dive bombing on the 51 there. As Living Good will lead us at the end of the 2nd lap.
Oh yeah, and 251.
I was gonna say, Phil, where you at?
To the inside, he tries it again, nearly to the wall there. 48.304 to a 48.2. That was with slowing down and letting the 51 by. Will he try to make the same move again? Yes! He makes it much cleaner this time. Locks up the left front, though. And still side by side as he outbroke himself into the corner. Living Good trying the outside. Mertz is all the way on the grass in the 2, but he takes the lead. It's a very tricky maneuver to get right, but if you can get it right, it's very rewarding. To the Joker goes Living Good, so we'll see. There's the delta between the 2 friends.
And a 351 cross flags.
Oh yeah, I just whispered that by accident.
47.5, 43.7, so it's a 4-second delta between these 2. I'm not really sure if Living Good was pushing all that he could through the Joker, but once again, the Bridgestone tires are screaming for help through turns 1 and 2 off of the Subaru. The Hoosier shod Mitsubishi doing much better on its tires through there. As you gotta think, Hoosier, an oval tire manufacturer, very good at doing that. Bridgestone more of a road racing tire. So it almost depends on which tire you have on your car to where you could be faster in what section. Living Good will take 2 to go and still lead in the quarterfinal.
And 451.
It's going to be interesting to see when Mertz Jokers, 47.343, when Mertz Jokers to see where he will come out, because that's a decent-sized gap. We'll pay attention to Living Good, 48 flat. So Mertz was 0.7 of a second faster than Living Good in the Subaru, than the Mitsubishi. Living Good's going to have to Joker on one of these laps. We saw last season here, Erdman and Mertz came together in the quarterfinal when Erdman jokered at the last possible second. So Living Good's going to do that same strategy. Or sorry, Mertz is not going to do that same strategy. My apologies, as Living Good did joker earlier.
And a 5, number 2 leads, white flag.
Mertz takes the lead, no contest between the joker there. 47.4 to a 42.6. Fastest man on the circuit. Lester back in third. 43.7 was Living Good's joker lap, and 44.7 was Lester. So Mertz was definitely faster. That car is hooked up on the slower speed corners. You saw the asphalt there. It just turned on a dime. And car number 2 trying to fight car number 1 for this championship. They have quickly become the 2 title protagonists. Not trying to discount Wetz, but Wetz was miles off the pace compared to those guys in Canada last week. As Mertz will join his teammate as winning the quarterfinal here in Milwaukee. Much better result than last season. To the semifinal goes Living Good and Lester.
Josh.
Good race.
51 second, 53rd. Come on, Casey, you can do it.
2 hours later.
Yeah, I didn't mean to check you. That's why I gave
yours
it.
was 2 hours later. Mine was 3 years later.
Oh, trust me, I was gonna give you the bumper, Josh. if you didn't apologize like you did, I was probably gonna give you the bumper.
So you can pick whatever gate you want. Just a reminder, you just have to be in that order that you guys
Are you
are
actually running an LCQ? Or are you talking about the order they'll have?
in. It's going to be the order is determined by points when
What?
you have 6 cars. Well, the quote-unquote LCQ.
Alright, so the game crashes itself again. I don't know why it keeps doing this.
Sent that like an hour ago when I was at my grandparents' house.
End of 4, 1 leads. I'm going to give up some time. So you can pick whatever gate you want. Just a reminder, you just have to be in that order that you guys
Are you
read.
actually running an LCQ? Or are you talking about the order they'll have?
It's going to be the order is determined by points when
What?
we have 6 cars. Well, the quote-unquote LCQ. $23 good. 42 pull up. 42 back up.
Back up.
Now pull up.
42 pull up.
Pull up.
I got it.
Pull up game.
A little bit more. Good. 51 pull up. Good. 50 pull up. Good. 23 pull up a smidge. 4 laps Joker wants. Good luck.
Getting ready for the semifinal. Wet's living good. Jacob Kraus and Lester. Lester makes a huge habit, hugely bad habit, green flag, of jumping the start. Kraus is going to get into the other Revolution Racing car as we begin
Careful
the
on the start.
semifinal.
Careful on the start. Start is good.
I'm not sure what's going on in that launch control on car number 50, but every race he seems to jump the start.
Come on.
Battling hard with Jacob Kraus for the private honors today. And Lester way off the track.
Penalty box 42.
Looks like off the front bumper of car number 42.
Alright,
And
so-
around goes the 23 off the front bumper of the 51.
Penalty box 51.
So this is going to reset the order to Wetz and Lester as Livingood has to take to the penalty box in car number 51. So we should see the 51 dip off onto the penalty box.
End of 1. 51 leads. Joker is allowed. 51 and 42 posted. Penalty box.
As both of them will take their trip
Remember, stop and go.
to the penalty box. 51 down on the apron. And also the 42 looking for the penalty box. As both of them made that avoidable contact. Lester into the wall
Good.
Are you fucking...
in car number 50. Not sure what's happening in Lester's cockpit, but something's certainly going wrong. But that gives Wetz the semifinal lead and also gives Livingood back, essentially, the bonus point that he had. We're back in the running order that we had at the start before every single person wrecked into each other. Livingood Jokers
End of 2. 51. Cross flags.
on the first opportunity. Livingood Jokers trying to get the better grid choice over his teammate, but there's no gap between them. 47.6 to a 49.6. It was 2 seconds difference, but remember, Livingood had to penalty box. Lester struggling in third, 53.606, and Jacob Kraus, 53.518. Wetz can easily take this penalty box and take the lead if he does not mess this up. But we saw in the quarterfinal how he outbroke himself and drilled it into the wall. Let's see what Wetz does. He does not Joker now. He's going to follow his teammate, potentially into a mistake. Even though he has the delta,
Warning 51.
there is no gap between them. And from my commentary box window, we'll see Livingood take the white flag in the
End of
LCQ.
3. 51 leads.
Or
White
semifinal,
flag.
sorry. 49.105 to a 48.2. Lester's the fastest man on the circuit at a 45 flat, but I do believe that's his Joker lap. So he would be battling potentially Livingood for the second spot if he hadn't made that mistake. But he will be credited with the LCQ victory if he does not get a bonus point. Wetz is going to take to the Joker, and that's going to seal it. Wetz will win the semifinal along with his teammate Livingood, bringing home the second bonus point in Milwaukee.
Checkered flag 23 wins the semifinal. Second place to the 51.
Casey had the fastest lap.
What?
Casey
wait,
had the fastest lap until the 23 Joker.
God damn it.
And Kraus comes home
50
fourth.
comes home third. 42 will come home fourth. That was spicy.
Looks like that $5 car had some engine troubles.
I lost second gear, like, on my 2.
Sometimes cheaper isn't better, boys and girls.
At 50 pull up a little bit. But I'm letting you guys grid up. Go, grid up. But because if I'm going to be blocking the way, if you guys go.
Am I the 2 corkboard? What? What's you're beside me, so you know.
Alright, hold on. 1 is fine, 23, pull up a little bit, 50, pull up a little bit. 50, good, 23. Good. 8 laps, Joker twice. Good luck, gentlemen.
Getting ready for the Milwaukee Grand Prix. On pole is Kraus, then it's Wetz, Lester, Livingood,
Leader, count
Mertz,
laps.
and
Where's the-
Kraus.
Oh.
Green flag. Off the line, Lester made contact with Livingood through turn 3 and 4 of the oval. Out onto the front straightaway. Drag racing to begin the first lap. It's going to be Philip Kraus leading Chris Wetz and his teammate Mertz with Livingood. It was side-by-side MRT and Revolution for 2 rows, but Kraus is going to beat Wetz. Mertz side-by-side with him through turns 1 and 2 of the oval and down into the infield. Livingood shoots the gap between his teammate and Mertz. Can't make anything happen. Side-by-side is Mertz with Wetz. He tried to force Wetz. He couldn't make anything happen with that, though. And side-by-side were Wetz with Mertz. Mertz nearly making contact. Livingood making contact with him, rather. And then Lester and Jacob Kraus. And this is what Kraus needs to see. Phil Kraus needs to see to take the fight to his teammate. To the inside goes Livingood and turns the 2 and around nearly.
51.
And 1-1.
Philip Kraus
That was
leads.
not more than 90 degrees.
No penalty
Shitty
box
either
call
way.
for the 51, and Mertz is angry. Points
I remember
leader.
that.
Now Philip Kraus holds the lead. Second is Wetz. Third is now Lester. And Mertz is upset. He's dive bombing on the 50 and gets the spot
Sorry,
and gets
Casey.
hit by Lester.
Oh, no, what the fuck? Sorry, I think I saved you.
And self-destructing potentially is car number 2. And we've seen this happen a lot of times in the past couple seasons, especially since we're able to have these communications. Jokering is car number 51 along with the 50. Let's see who comes out
Oh, never mind.
at the second lap. Kraus
And
leads.
2.
So now this puts the 51 and the 50 off strategy. And I think the 2 is just going to push hard and try and joker on the last 2 laps of the race. That's the best thing for him to do to try and catch up to the front of the field. As Wetz and Philip Kraus holding the lead. Kraus is the fastest man on the circuit that has not jokered 47.667, or 4.67, sorry. His last lap was a 6.67. Wetz in second. Let's see who will joker. Livingood's going to complete a strategy. We'll put the 51 through to the lead. Will the 2 joker? No, he will not. 49.337. Mertz gets by the 50 cleanly, and Livingood takes the lead.
Taking Joker.
And 351.
So Livingood's cards are played. Philip Kraus ran a 47.2. Wetz a 47.3. Mertz a 47.4. Lester a 47.2. Everyone's in the 42nd bracket. Livingood, because of his joker, a 44.617. So Kraus and Wetz, I believe, still have yet to joker. Mertz has yet to joker. And Livingood has completed his strategy. Mertz will joker. No, he will not. In car number 2, my mistake. Pushing hard, locking up the right front under braking. That's very strange to do here, at least in that corner.
And 451.
Cross flags for Livingood. 48-1. He's leading, but he is not on strategy. This race battle is between Kraus, Philip Kraus, and Chris Wetz. Running order has not changed. Livingood is just trying to get track time out front. We haven't seen him out front in a long time. This is a very rare occasion where he's out front. The only other time on merit was a couple weeks ago in the heat race, but we haven't seen him out front on merit in a long time. He's only out front because of the strategy. That's going to change because Kraus and Wetz have jokered, coming to 3 laps to go. Mertz has not jokered in the background either. Livingood back to
And
third.
5-1.
3 to go. I think Wetz doesn't have the pace for Kraus today.
Yes.
43 flat to a 42.8. He was 0.2 of a second faster, was Wetz over Kraus. But it's just going to be tough to see. Like I said, I don't think that Wetz is going to have the pace for the Wisconsin native today. the man from Appleton, who races under the Canadian license, interestingly grew up in the same town as Jacob Kraus. Jokering his wets, coming to 2 laps to go. Where's Phil? There he is in second. Is Mertz jokering? Yes, he is. So the points leader trying to put himself further up in the order, but I don't think that's going to help him. There's no spots that change for him.
End of 6:23.
So 2 laps to go for Wets.
Take a joker.
And Jacob Kraus battling with Casey Lester for the privateer honors. We'll have to see how that race unfolds in just a couple moments. Mertz isn't very happy with the 51, we know this, especially since they're not teammates anymore. Will Philip Kraus joker again? Yes, he does. So the 1 will joker coming to the white flag. That's going to release him under the clutches of Wets. Mertz is going to take his second joker. That will get him...
On. White flag.
That'll get him by the 51 and put him back to third. 42.669. Fastest man on the circuit is Mertz at a 42.435. He is in third. This is the battle for the victory. I think the strategy was played by both of these guys. They jokered on the same lap, and then they jokered on separate laps. This is the battle for the race win here in Milwaukee, and it's getting heated up. Wets has an issue over the jump, and never mind, that seals it.
Yeah, Josh, go back and look at that replay. That wasn't my fault.
Kraus is going to go 1 better than last season.
Fucking course.
He wins in Milwaukee, and Erdman would be proud. Second is Wets. Third will be Mertz.
Good win.
Fourth, living good.
23 second.
Privateer battle. Wets, or
third.
sorry, Lester v. Kraus. Will Jacob Kraus dive bomb the 50? He tries it. He can't make anything happen. Coming home to win Privateers for the Milwaukee Grand Prix as Jacob Kraus has an issue. Lester finishes 5th.
Almost.
51, 50.
As what a race here in Milwaukee. As interesting battle between Wets and Philip Kraus. It's just that jump really bites a lot of people. We saw that happen last season with Mertz and Kraus, actually. They were battling, I believe, for the race lead midway through that race. Cut all that out because I was busy fucking burping. Hold on. I'm waiting for my spreadsheet to load. So a great battle between Wets and Kraus was not to be here in Milwaukee. It gives Kraus his 7th career victory in NASA RallyCross, and he went 1 better than his former teammate Erdman did last season. Going into next week in Lakewood, Colorado, that gives Philip Kraus the red plate by 4 points, as Mertz down on points due to the 3rd place finish today. As what an interesting season this is shaping up to be. We can definitely tell the players of this championship, Mertz, Kraus, and Wets. And who knows what's going to happen next week in Lakewood. It's going to be a great race for our Colorado swing. Lakewood South, Canyon City, Lakewood North, and then out west. We hope you enjoyed today's coverage here on the Automotive Sports Network. We hope to see you next week in Lakewood. But until then, so long, everyone.